As part of my plan, I told my 7-year-old son to go next door and borrow a fruit knife. I promised him, if you can bring it back, Mommy will never show up in front of Lena Monroe again. Hearing that, Aiden Brooks immediately lit up with joy and happily brought the knife back to me. The moment I held it in my hand, I didn't hesitate. I pressed it against my neck and slashed hard. Blood spurted out violently, splattering across Aiden's innocent little face. This was my final gift to him, something he would never forget. Back when Nathan Brooks's beloved Lena Monroe and I were kidnapped at the same time, Nathan rushed over with the ransom money, but without a second thought. He chose to save Lena first, and my son, Aiden, the child I had raised for years, at that moment, copied his father. He gently rubbed Lena's red wrists where the ropes had chafed, occasionally even blowing on them and saying, "Auntie Lena, let me blow on it, it'll stop hurting soon." The three of them were so loving and harmonious, they completely forgot that I was still being held hostage nearby. Even the kidnapper leader mocked the scene. "Wow, look at her lost in tenderness. I bet he won't even bother rescuing you. Why don't I just kill you now?" I watched them carefully escort Lena Monroe away. Then, the system in my head issued a cold verdict: mission failed. Punishment struck instantly, and I passed out on the spot. In my blurred consciousness, I heard the gang leader panic and catch me before I hit the floor. "What? She fainted just from that? Damn it, we need to take her to the hospital now, or we're in deep trouble." When I woke up from the coma, I asked the system in my mind to confirm, "As long as this body dies, I can go home, right?" After receiving the system's firm answer, I walked to the window. This room was at least 15 meters above ground. If I jumped, I would definitely die. I opened the window and threw myself out. The moment I lost my footing, I felt the world drop beneath me. The wind screamed in my ears, making them ache, but I wasn't afraid. In fact, I was looking forward to it, just a little more, and I could finally go home. After returning to the world where someone truly loved me, I closed my eyes, ready to embrace the end peacefully, but in the very next second, the feeling of falling freely vanished. Someone grabbed my arm tightly, and the momentum felt like it tore my shoulder apart. A searing pain shot from my arm through my entire chest. When I opened my eyes, all I could see was my arm nearly dislocated. The one holding onto me was Liam Brooks, Nathan's half-brother. I looked up at the teenager drenched in sweat and said calmly, "Let go." But Liam gritted his teeth and gripped tighter, using all his strength to pull me up. He shouted at me, "So what? Just because my brother didn't choose you, you jump off a building? What the hell is wrong with your head?" I slowly reached out and started peeling his fingers off mine one by one. "Liam, I'm already dead to you anyway. Isn't this exactly what you wanted? So let go." Liam hated me, or rather, everyone close to Nathan despised me. After Lena Monroe ran away for love, Nathan married me under his family's pressure. To them, I was just an opportunist who took advantage of the situation. They openly excluded me, ridiculed me. Liam was always leading the charge. He stormed into the Brooks' ancestral home, trampling the flowers I planted in the courtyard. He knew I was allergic to cat fur, yet still encouraged Aiden to adopt a stray cat. When I objected, he manipulated the situation until Aiden was bawling, his cries echoing through the living room, shouting, "Mommy's so mean. I want to keep the cat." Liam stood by, watching the drama unfold with satisfaction, then stepped in pretending to be the good guy. "It's just a cat. If he likes it, let him keep it." Aiden cried even harder, throwing tantrums and rolling on the floor, muttering, "Mommy's evil. She won't let me have a cat." I ended up kicking both Liam and the cat out of the house, then patiently explained to Aiden, "Sweetheart, I'm allergic to cat fur. We can't keep a cat, but maybe we can adopt a dog instead." But Liam kept fueling his emotions behind my back. Aiden wouldn't listen to anything I said anymore. He kept punching me, demanding I bring the cat back. The distance between Aiden and me only grew wider. And Liam, he seized every opportunity. Lena Monroe kept whispering bad things about me into Aiden Brooks's ear, turning that little boy against me like I was some demon crawling out of hell. She turned my life into a mess of chaos, but I couldn't die. Then Liam Brooks caused a huge scene, drawing attention from the medical staff. They worked together to pull me up. Liam looked at me, then silently shut the window. His hands trembled, from his palms to his fingertips. There were deep purple-red marks from gripping too tightly. "Emily, I don't hate you as much as you think." He lowered his head, letting his bangs cover his eyes. I could almost hear a trace of grievance in his voice. When I tried to say something, Liam crossed his arms and tilted his chin back up, returning to his usual laid-back, careless self. He smirked. "So, is this your new tactic? Let me tell you, my brother won't fall for that whole fake vulnerability act. This kind of drama will only make him hate you more." Liam drifted into his own little world, rambling nonstop. While the medical staff were checking equipment beside me, I walked over to the window and quickly pulled it open. But just as I was about to step out, Liam grabbed me back, twice in a row. It wasn't until then that he finally realized I wasn't faking it to get attention. I really wanted to die. He pulled me far away from the window. After making sure I was safely within his reach, he began talking to me gently, his voice softer than before. You ever think maybe he's not the only man in the world? Why do you have to cling to Nathan like that? He let out a small cough, a faint blush on his cheeks. I'll admit it. My brother's not a great guy. But still, he's not worth dying over. You could find someone better. Maybe someone's already secretly in love with you. You just haven't noticed yet. Liam brought me back to the Brooks family estate. On the way, he told me that Nathan Brooks had already found out the kidnapping was staged by you. Now he was comforting Lena Monroe, the one who had been mentally traumatized. My brother is furious, Liam said, and when the time comes, you'd better. I'm sorry, Lena Monroe, I said. That was all. As long as I settled things with Aiden Brooks, everything else would fall into place more easily. I didn't respond further. I simply tilted my head and looked out the car window. The scenery outside gradually receded. Everything passed in the blink of an eye, barely leaving a trace, no shadow to hold on to. Thinking back to just before I passed out, the panicked kidnapper rushed me to the hospital. I could only guess that this kidnapping was another setup, yet another trap planned by Lena Monroe. And now, I was once again the scapegoat. She could still stand there in front of Nathan Brooks and pretend to be a helpless, innocent flower. This wasn't the first time. And it would never be the last. Between her and me, it was like the two poles of a magnet, constantly repelling each other, yet always hurting one another in the process. As for Nathan, he was just a piece of iron helplessly drawn to Lena Monroe. Even her most obvious schemes and manipulations would appear to him as delicate signs of her weakness, something endearing. Without hesitation, he always sided with her. The scale had never once tilted in my favor. My arguments, my despair, my outbursts of anger, all of it would be met with just one cold sentence from him. Stop making a scene. Look at yourself right now. Suddenly, I remembered the early days when I first tried to win Nathan over. At that time, Lena Monroe had already run away with the male lead, leaving only Nathan behind, a heartbroken second male lead drowning in sorrow and alcohol. The system told me that this drunken man slumped over his drink would be my target. Only when I earned 100 affection points from him would I be able to return home. I didn't understand why the mission's success depended on winning a man's love. But if it meant going home, I was willing to endure it, so I nervously approached Nathan. He was drunk in a bar. I drank with him, then threw up all over the place. I apologized and cleaned up the entire mess. He remembered the desserts Lena Monroe used to make for him, so I signed up for baking classes. I studied his taste preferences carefully, but even after all that effort, after putting my heart into those desserts, Nathan wouldn't even look at them. He threw them straight into the trash. He once warned me not to even try to imitate Lena Monroe. He said I wasn't even worthy of carrying her shoes. After that, I stopped baking, but I started learning how to cook. Nathan Brooks had stomach issues. On the nights he worked overtime, he always skipped dinner, so I began preparing different meals every day, making sure they were nutritious, and personally brought them to his office. Maybe because the food didn't taste too bad, Nathan gradually accepted my presence. That period was when we got along the best. His favorability toward me slowly increased. When I thought I was finally going to earn a place in his heart, something unexpected happened. I got pregnant. Because of family pressure, Nathan had to marry me, and his favorability plummeted. From start to finish, he believed I got pregnant on purpose, that I had trapped him into marrying me. It was laughable. Who didn't use protection? It wasn't me. If anyone should be blamed, it should be him. He and Lena Monroe were the same. They both loved shifting blame and responsibility onto others. Did that somehow help ease their guilt? I couldn't understand. I followed Liam Brooks and walked into the Brooks residence. The first thing I saw was Lena Monroe, lounging casually on the sofa. Nathan Brooks and Aiden Brooks, both grown men, stood nearby holding plates of neatly sliced fruit. Feeding her bite by bite, Aiden, just a little boy, was sitting by Lena's feet, grinning like an idiot, massaging her legs like a servant. If they had tails, I swear they'd be wagging them to the sky. When Nathan turned and saw me, his expression changed instantly. His eyebrows knit tightly, and he grabbed a stack of documents from the coffee table and threw them straight at my face. He stood up, full of intimidating energy. Emily, I don't care how miserable you want to make yourself, but you're never allowed to hurt Lena Monroe. You staged a fake kidnapping just to get my attention, what? Are you proud of that? If anything had really happened to Lena, you'd better get ready to spend the rest of your life in prison. I crouched down to pick up the scattered papers. Nathan glanced at the paper and suddenly let out a sarcastic laugh. On the paper, there was only a one-sided statement written by the so-called kidnappers, clearly scripted. If Nathan had trusted me even the slightest bit, he would have checked the transaction history to see where the money had gone. Then maybe, just maybe, he wouldn't have accused me like this. People only see what they want to see. Lena Monroe noticed my reaction. She suddenly got up from the sofa and rushed toward Nathan, clearly afraid I might say something to expose her. She quickly grabbed the hem of his sleeve and said anxiously, "Nathan, I'm fine. Don't be so worked up. Emily is still a woman after all. She's just emotional." She hadn't even finished her sentence when I slapped her across the face. I used all my strength. The sound echoed across the entire living room. Lena stared at me, wide-eyed and stunned. She hadn't fully processed what just happened. Neither had anyone else in the room. Everyone was frozen in shock. Nathan was the first to snap out of it. Furious, he rushed over and grabbed me by the neck with both hands, his eyes filled with rage. My survival instincts kicked in. I struggled under his grip, gasping. I looked him straight in the eye with contempt. "With just this pile of so-called evidence, you want to throw me in jail? Are you stupid?" That did it. My words completely triggered him. Nathan's grip tightened even more. Air. There was no air. I could feel death creeping closer. And yet, I couldn't help but laugh. Right then, Liam Brooks landed a heavy punch straight into Nathan's face. Out of reflex, Nathan let go of me, lacking oxygen. My knees gave out and I collapsed to the floor. Gasping, I tried to breathe in deeply. Then I glared up in annoyance at the man who had just ruined both of my near-death escapes. "Liam." Before I could say anything, Liam threw another punch at Nathan. "Do you even realize she almost died? You were trying to strangle her to death." Nathan completely lost control. He jerked his arm back but didn't fight back. He pushed Liam away and looked at me with a complicated expression, but in just a second, he looked away. "So what?" he said coldly. "She laid a hand on Lena first." That's right, his issue wasn't that I nearly died, it was that I dared to slap Lena Monroe. Aiden Brooks clung tightly to Lena Monroe's arm and glared angrily in my direction. I didn't want to deal with these fake, pretentious faces anymore. While Liam Brooks and Nathan Brooks were arguing, I quietly turned around and went back to my room. But Liam didn't stop. His voice was still echoing all the way to the second floor. "Nathan, are you insane? Didn't you see her smiling when she almost died? I think she did it on purpose. She provoked you so you'd finally snap and kill her. She wants to die? What a joke. That woman's so obsessed with me, there's no way she'd go that far." The door shut behind me, blocking out all the noise. Finally, the world was quiet again. I pulled open the drawer, grabbed a fruit knife, and headed straight to the bathroom. The cold, sharp blade slid across my wrist. Blood trickled down from the cut, falling one drop at a time. Honestly, facing death wasn't as terrifying or painful as I'd imagined. When I opened my eyes again, I was staring blankly at a stark white ceiling. I tried to sit up, and the sudden movement startled someone who had been sleeping with his head resting on the edge of the bed. It was Liam Brooks. He must have stayed by my side the whole night. Dark circles weighed down his eyes. When he saw me awake, he rushed to help me. "You're awake. How do you feel? Do you want water? Something to eat?" My wrist was tightly bandaged. I pushed his hand away irritably and leaned back against the headboard. Liam froze for a second, then awkwardly pulled his hand back. I turned my face away. I didn't want to look at him. If I hadn't lost so much blood and been too weak to move, he wouldn't have been able to stop me this time. He never cared before. "Where's Nathan?" I asked. That one question snapped something inside Liam. He suddenly stood up, the force causing me to fall back against the headboard. Pain shot through my shoulder, and I gasped from the sting. "You're still thinking about Nathan?" he shouted, his voice a mix of fury, pain, and bitter frustration. "Emily, he hasn't visited you once. You've been unconscious for 2 whole days. 2 days. Has he come to see you even once? No. Stop destroying yourself for someone like him. Please. Just let him go." In that moment, the pain in my heart, his eyes became sharper. He paused for a moment, almost like he was begging me. Meanwhile, Lena just stood there, arms crossed, clearly enjoying the drama without the slightest intention of interfering. Their fight was so intense it gave me a pounding headache. Honestly, I wanted to die. But at least I wanted to die in peace. I grabbed an apple from the fruit tray and hurled it straight at the two of them. It hit Liam squarely on the head. Taking advantage of the moment, I shouted at the top of my lungs, "Enough. Both of you, shut up, right now." Nathan finally stopped struggling when I threw a cup at him. Aiden also stopped crying as I gently patted his head to calm him down. Only Nathan remained stubborn and aggressive. When I looked at Liam, he looked back at me with eyes full of hurt. I couldn't help but laugh. I stared at him calmly, my eyes showing no emotion at all. "Liam, what makes you think I would ever like someone who uses love as an excuse to hurt me? Do you really believe saying I love you can erase all the pain you've caused me? How can you think it's that easy? Get out of here, Liam. You're even more disgusting than your brother. I truly regret saving you. I should have let you die in the ocean that day. Did you hear me clearly, Emily?" His voice trembled. Nathan raised an eyebrow at Liam, a hint of smugness on his face. Liam didn't respond. He just stood still, tears forming at the corners of his eyes, his face twitching with emotion. "I'm sorry, Emily. I just wanted you to look at me a little more. No one ever taught me how to love someone properly. Please don't die. You can hate me, you can despise me, just don't die." I didn't reply. Silence was the best answer I could give Liam. I only saved him out of basic human decency. When I pulled him out of the water that day, I didn't even know who he was. There are too many coincidences in this world. That day, he just happened to be drowning, and I happened to know how to swim, that was all. The security guards dragged Liam away, leaving only Nathan and Aiden in the hospital room. Lena Monroe stood hesitantly at the door, unsure whether to come in or not. As my eyes glanced toward her, Nathan instinctively stepped in front of me, shielding me. Maybe Liam's appearance made him feel threatened. For once, he explained himself, "Don't misunderstand. I haven't been visiting you these past few days because Lena hasn't been feeling well. I had to take her for a few checkups and couldn't find the time." I asked calmly, "Which hospital did you take her to?" Nathan froze. His head lowered in silence. Of course, he didn't dare to answer, because the hospital, he said it was the same place where I was getting treatment. If he admitted that lie, the excuse about being too busy would fall apart. It wasn't that he was too busy, he just didn't want to come see me. Nathan Brooks let out a long sigh and was about to say something, but he was cut off by Aiden's shout. "Lena passed out, Dad. Look." Nathan rushed to the door and picked up Lena Monroe, who had fainted on the floor. He ran with her toward the emergency department. Aiden wanted to follow, but after just a few steps, he turned around and glared at me. "You're a terrible mom. I hate you. You made Dad fight. Lena passed out because of you. I don't need you anymore." Looking at that tiny little boy in front of me, my heart ached. When Aiden was first born, I really loved him. He was so well-behaved and sweet. And so adorable. Every day, he clung to me, calling, "Mommy." He used to be the light that saved me from the darkness in my life. I still don't understand how Lena Monroe managed to change him so much. The kind, loving child I once knew was now someone I didn't even recognize, all because of Lena and Liam Brooks. But no matter what, he was still the child I once loved with all my heart. Before I left, I wanted to give him a gift he'd never forget. So, I called out to Aiden and promised that I would never appear in front of Lena Monroe again. Then, I asked him to go to the room next door and borrow a fruit knife. Aiden was still young. In his mind, he just thought I was going to stop bothering Lena. He happily went and got the knife for me. I took the knife from him. He crossed his arms and warned me, "Don't bother Lena ever again." I couldn't help but smile. "Don't worry, sweetheart, Mommy's got one last gift just for you." If something feels off, let us know in the comments so we can make every story even better. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe so you never miss an episode.